Hello and welcome to Clearview News. We are reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. In the news, President Muhammadu Buhari warns against the use of cyberspace to subvert the democratic rights of Nigerians. Security consultant prefers solutions to ending banditry in Zamfara State and other troubled parts of the country. Nigerians demand swift federal government intervention to end xenophobic attacks against their fellow citizens in South Africa. I am Prudence Okonna with the details of these and more. President Muhammadu Buhari has decried the use of cyberspace to manipulate elections and subvert the democratic rights of citizens. Addressing the 2019 annual investment meeting in Dubai, President Buhari said a certain level of regulation is needed to preserve the integrity of the digital economy. The president therefore called on world leaders to come up with proposals to create a digital world that is accessible, inclusive and safe to all. President Buhari, in his keynote, while acknowledging that digital globalization is transforming the world almost every day with innovations and transformative ideas, President Buhari cautioned that the cyber world would remain a constant threat if left unregulated. He also lamented the steady rise in fake news and cybercrimes, particularly when platforms are hijacked and manipulated by criminals. The theme of this year's summit is mapping the future of foreign direct investment and reaching world economies through digital globalization. And the Vice President, Yemi Osibajo, says effective national health insurance scheme remains the best panacea for the development of the health sector and an efficient healthcare delivery in the country. Speaking while receiving a delegation of the Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, in his office, Professor Osibajo believes Nigeria has a good opportunity to do something about the national health insurance, as it is obvious that both the federal government and state governments cannot adequately provide health care for almost 200 million Nigerian people. Citing India as the country with the most privatized healthcare system in the world and the component states being responsible for providing healthcare, Professor Osibajo emphasized the need for doctors to be remunerated properly regardless of their location, either in rural or urban locations, saying the country must find a logical way of addressing this issue. The Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, said the ministry has made significant strides in achieving universal health coverage with the expansion of the National Health Insurance Scheme. He added that the Basic Health Care Provision Fund would also help in fast-tracking and the development of the National Health Insurance Scheme. Also, the President of the Nigerian Medical Association, Dr. Francis Afaduyile, acknowledged the Buhari administration's efforts in the health sector, which includes the signing of the Residency Training Act, the release of the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, as well as the recently improved Cancer Center at Lagos University Teaching Hospital. And the Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, says the ministry has put in place plans to support innovation by Nigerians who have shown a high level of creativity. The minister restated this on Tuesday in Abuja while playing host to Dr. Iwu Roland, who was at the ministry to present his invention, a crystal ceiling board. Clearview TV's Rose Aldo was there and now reports.
The Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, has said that the ministry will do everything possible to ensure that Nigerians who are creative and are making great input in the nation's economy get proper backing and support that is needed. According to him, any invention that will impact positively on the nation's economy would be embraced by all.
The Federal Ministry of Science and Technology is devoted, dedicated, and we are working round the clock, day and night, to ensure that we encourage all Nigerians who are able to invent anything, any product, who are able to innovate, make improvements to any systems, any products, any services that can help the productivity of our great nation, because we believe that this is the best way we can create wealth both for ourselves and for our nation, and also help to also create jobs, because we believe very strongly, and the President, President Muhammadu Buhari, is determined to make sure that we'll keep working until we ensure that all those who want to work in our country have the opportunity to do so.
Speaking earlier, the inventor of Iwu crystal ceiling board, Dr. Iwu Roland, while presenting some of his inventions, said he started his innovation in 1961 and had since sought the intervention of the federal government but was yet to get a positive response. Dr. Iwu also presented some of his craft to the minister Ogbonnaya Onu. Dr. Iwu wondered why his works are yet to be recognized by the Nigerian government when other countries like the USA have already done so. However, the minister promised to give his support and promote the invention in his own capacity. Rose Audu, reporting for Clearview Television.
And the Vice Chancellor of Nigeria Maritime University, Okere Koko Delta State Professor Ongoebi Etevu, has appealed to the federal government to resume construction on the university's permanent site. Addressing the first matriculation ceremony of the first cadets of the first para military university in the country, Professor Etevu said the university is facing challenges of office and space accommodation and that efforts must be made to address them. She said the university was already in affiliation with Caribbean Maritime University, Jamaica, and that the observed challenges needed to be resolved as both institutions are now going to be comparing notes in the development of programs and curriculum, as well as in service delivery and training. The Vice-Chancellor also thanked the Delta State government for its support to the university while expressing gratitude to the host communities. The Director General of Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Dr. Dakuko Peterside, and several others gave goodwill messages. The Nigeria Christian Pilgrims Commission this Monday in Abuja launched its bid opening for airlifting and ground handling service for 2019 Christian Pilgrimage Exercise. Speaking at the bid opening ceremony, the Executive Secretary of the Nigeria Christian Pilgrims Commission, Reverend Ojato, called on Nigerians who, in the midst of adversity and trouble, still hold the country in high esteem to continue giving selfless service to the country. Clearview TV's Rose Audu was at the event and now reports.
The NCPC Executive Secretary explained that the Commission plans to restructure the pilgrim camp to enable people have access to privileges available to those who go on pilgrimage. The Executive Secretary, who also called on Nigeria to invest in the wellness of the country, which he said is still evolving into her glorious days which are at hand.
We have set out to develop pilgrimage and to make it more fluent and enjoyable and result-oriented, both spiritually and developmentally. It's in this wise that I announced to you that 2018 pilgrimage took off a bit late, but it went on successfully, and it has been adjudged perhaps the best pilgrimage NCPC has ever organized in his lifetime. And the indices, the timeliness of everything, the quality of the aircraft, the beauty of the services, the movement to the sites, both the spiritual and the developmental matters, and the ease with which we went. And I need to announce to you also that for the third year running, we have had 100% return in terms of health, that nobody has died on pilgrimage in the course of the walk.
Some representatives across different spheres of Nigeria who were present at the bid opening commended the Commission for its transparency in the bid opening process.
We have Taba tours, Sanialing tours. Number 2, we have AMI system. Number 3, we have Telomet tours track Hador Travels and Tours Limited. Number 4, we have Sahel Tours / Aero Logistics. We have 3 companies. Number 1, we have Gatmore Limited. Number 2, we have Atlas Jet Nigeria Limited. And number 3, we have OJ's Travel.
It's quite commendable, and I will commend you for this exercise. Thank you for.
And we never compromise on our services. And thank you very much, and God bless.
A total of 7 companies presented their bid to provide service to the Commission in the 2019 Pilgrim exercise. Rose Audu, reporting for Clearview Television.
With the recent suspension of mining activities in Zamfara State by the Inspector General of Police, Adamu Mohammed, as a result of its possible connection to the endemic banditry in the state, a security consultant and former British police officer, Vince Onyekwelu, has advised security personnel on the necessary steps to take to arrest the situation in Zamfara in particular and the nation at large. Onyekwelu gave the advice as a guest on Clearview TV's program Governance Today. Clearview TV's Uju Onyemechalo monitored the program and now reports.
Onyekwelu said it was worrisome that the primary responsibility of government, which is to secure lives and properties, was gradually being defeated with the reoccurrence of killings in different parts of the nation.
Obviously, the current issues going on in Zamfara when it comes to our national security is getting very worrisome, in the sense that the basic responsibility of a government is to secure lives and properties. And right now, I don't believe from a professional point of view that that is being achieved in Zamfara State. Not only in Zamfara State, in many other states of Nigeria. But even though our focus today is on Zamfara State, that protection of lives and properties are not being satisfied.
The security consultants therefore urged government to address the proliferation of firearms and light weapons and ensure that stipulated laws guiding unlawful possession of arms and ammunition are implemented.
Now, the way forward is very simple. Obviously, it's easy to blame the politicians for everything. Possibly they may be involved, but obviously I don't have such evidence. I cannot just blame the politicians. But obviously there could be other businessmen. There could possibly even be non-Nigerians that have licenses to operate those mines. The issue of firearms and light weapons proliferation, we need to work on it. Because, for example, in England, for example, if you are caught with a weapon, a gun, a firearm, for example, you're going to go down for 3 years or 5 years straight. There's no stories about it. In Nigeria, nothing happens. There's a law there, but it's not implemented. No arrest, no prosecutions. Now, what can we do better? Number 1, secure our national borders. You cannot get it right without knowing who comes into your house or who leaves from your house every day. You cannot be guaranteed if people come into your kitchen every day. You cannot eat the food from that kitchen. Secure our national borders, number 1. Very important. Number 2, activate our national ID system. So we've got about 5, 6, 7 biometric systems. All we have to do is to clean them up. Like whenever you arrest somebody in KB or in Kogi or in Anambra or in Sokoto or in Lagos or in Rivers State, you put their fingerprint there. We know who the person is. We know if he's been looked for by the police. We need to have an ID system working. And we need to be seeing the police arresting and prosecuting people. The Air Force needs to stop this idea of bombing suspected armed bandit sites. I don't understand how you're going to drop bombs. Is that why you bought our jets for? To bomb? Do you know, even a criminal on death row has some level of rights. Even a condemned criminal has some level of rights. And those people you bombed, there's no evidence that they're actually criminals. And you just drop bomb on them and just destroy their lives.
With the recent launch of Operation Puff Adar to be jointly carried out by the police, the military and the Department of State Services against the bandits, Nigerians are hopeful that the gale of armed robbery attacks, kidnappings and similar crimes will be addressed. Uju Onyemechalo reporting for Clearview Television.
And you're watching Clearview TV News. We'll be back after this timeout.
This is Ibrahim calling from Niger State Medical Power.
Oh, this is Anita from Benin.
My name is John calling from Niger.
My name is Ahmed. I'm calling from Kogi State.
This is Clearview TV, and this is our spread through free-to-air via Niconsat and online.
Yes, this is Difus calling you from Adamawa State.
Adamala Ahmad Ibrahim.
Mala Ahmad Ibrahim the Gochaja kenan.
Daga Yuri.
I'm calling from Clearview. My name is Chukwemeka. I'm calling from Niger State.
You can imagine how far your advertisements, social announcements, official notices, and jingles will go if you patronize us. It's time to take your messages far at the cheapest rate.
You're welcome back. And Nigeria's 2019 budget may spend longer time at the National Assembly, although the Senate had twice given its subcommittees deadlines to conclude work on processing the budget bill. Findings show there is no light at the end of the tunnel. The Senator Danjuma Goje-led Committee on Appropriation told the upper legislative chamber last week that less than 10 committees had submitted their reports for further scrutiny and processing. This disclosure attracted warning from Senate President Bukola Saraki, who made it clear that all committees must submit reports to the committee by last Friday, 5th, 2019, to enable it to process and submit its own reports to the Senate on April 9th. He hinted that the Senate was committed to passing the budget bill before proceeding on Easter break, April 16th. It was, however, discovered that many subcommittees were unable to meet the Friday deadline. The committees blamed the delay on the failure of many ministries, departments, and agencies to defend their budgets. President Buhari had submitted the 8.83 trillion naira budget to a joint session of the National Assembly on December 19, 2018. The campaigns for the February and March general elections had made it impossible for the National Assembly to begin the consideration of the budget bill because of all lawmakers were involved. The budget proposal as presented by Buhari was based on an oil price benchmark of $60, crude oil production of 2.3 million barrels per day, and an exchange rate of 305 naira to a dollar. Other assumptions of the budget proposal include real GDP growth of 3.01% and inflation rate of 9.98%. The budget proposal is made up of 4.04 trillion naira recurrent expenditure, while 2.03 trillion naira is for capital development. And electricity consumers under the coverage areas of Abuja Electricity Distribution Company PLC and Jos Electricity Distribution Company PLC may soon have a sigh of relief. Reason: the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has directed that the rollout of prepaid meters should commence from May 1st, 2019. The Commission has also instructed meter asset providers, otherwise called MAPs, to ensure that upon commencement of the rollout, meters are installed for customers of AEDC and JEDC in their premises within 10 working days of making payment. Section 4, subsection 3 of the MAP Regulation 2018 requires all electricity distribution licenses to engage MAPs that would assist as investors in closing the metering gap and thus eliminating the practice of estimated billing in the Nigerian electricity supply industry. The meter asset providers asked to charge a maximum of 36,991 for single-phase meters and 67,055 naira for three-phase meters. These costs are inclusive of supply, installation, maintenance, and replacement of meters over its technical life. The Commission plans to closely monitor the rollout plan of the distribution licenses and overall compliance with the regulation and various service agreements by the MAP and electricity distribution licensees. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission had issued permits to meter asset providers who were successful in the procurements conducted by Abuja Electricity Distribution Company PLC and Just Electricity Distribution PLC in accordance with Section 4, Subsection 3 of the MAP Regulations 2018. And at this point, we'll be going off Facebook, but transmission on our other platform continues to be back after this timeout, and it's also time for sports for top stories on Nigerian sporting scene and beyond. We will join Tolu Oguntime for more of the sports stories. Stay tuned.
To masu kallon mu barkamu da haka barkamu da sake saduwa a cikin shirinmu na zaman rayuwa inda muke zo muku da shi daga wannan katafaren gidan TV wato Clearview Television. Clearview tashar talabijin madogara a bar alfarin kowa da ke yada shirinta a tauraron dan adam wato na Comsat gami da kafafen sadarwar yanar gizo. Wannan ke baka tabbacin fadin zangon gidan talabijin din da ke karadewa. Halo barkamu da haka da muke magana.
Suna magana da Malam Ashiru Salanta. Buhari ke magana. Da za mu duguri.
To mutanen Maiduguri dama muna tare da mu daga Maiduguri, to menene tambayar ka kuma shawara? Ni ne naku Abu Sufyan Abubakar Kola daga wannan katafaren gidan TV to Clearview Television Abuja. Muke muku fatan alkhairi, a huta lafiya. Wajen yada tallace-tallacen hajoji da al'amuran rayuwa, kama daga ɗaurin aure, kasuwanci, tarihi har ma da yada marfofi. Muddin ka ziyarce mu daga yau sunan ka sarkin gwarawa.
Juggernaut scores his first goal for a professional side. And
hello and welcome to the sports segment of Clearview TV News. I'm Oguntime into the Lokwe Oguntime. Courtney Dike says she is delighted to score a hat-trick on her return to Nigerian women team fold in a 6-1 win over UMF Selfos. The 24-year-old is second as substitute for Thomas Denebe's team, and the former youth international justified her inclusion with a treble against the Icelandic top flight side on Friday. Courtney Dike's first international hat-trick helped the country thrash UMF Selfos 6-1 in one of their Women's World Cup warm-up games. Dike, who had been frozen out of the team since making a senior debut against Australia at the 2015 Women's World Cup, is eager to build up on good form. Nigeria Women's Senior National Team, Super Falcons, wrapped up their preparation with a 2-1 defeat to Canada in Spain. Nigeria billionaire Femi Otedola has agreed to pay the sum of $50,000 needed by ex-Super Eagles captain Christian Chukwu to seek medical attention in the United States of America. The former Super Eagles player and coach is down with an ailment and is in dire need of funds for proper treatment. The 68-year-old is suffering from prostate cancer, which has affected his leg and is now said to go under the knife. According to reports, Otedola, a Nigerian business mogul, made a financial commitment during a phone conversation and described his action as a token of support to great Nigerian who will serve his country to the best of his ability. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Football Federation have also agreed to support former defender who guided the country to his first African Cup of Nations title in 1980. Chukwu was an assistant coach to Clemens Vesterhoff when Nigeria won its second African Cup of Nations title in 1994 before leading the team to a third-place finish at the 2004 African Cup of Nations. Plateau United coach Abdul Mekaba is confident the Just Base outfit will finish in the top 3 of the Nigeria Professional Football League (NPFL), despite the team's struggles. Coach Mekaba, who stated this in an exclusive interview, attributed the team's struggle to lack of effective preseason preparation and psychological impact of the banishment of the team from Jos to Kwara State and later Nasarawa State. He, however, expressed optimism that the team will overcome its current challenges and end the season on high. Manchester United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will not be piecing together a special plan to stop Barcelona talisman Lionel Messi in the Champions League, as one of the best in the world cannot be contained. The Red Devils are fully aware of the truth. A five-time Ballon d'Or winner is set to pose to them in a heavyweight quarter-final clash. The first meeting with the Mercury Argentine is set to be taken at Old Trafford on Wednesday, with the host hoping that his influence on proceedings can be kept to a minimum. Solskjaer will not be focusing too much of his attention on Messi, though as such approach will be pointless with Barcelona boasting so many other match winners in the squad. United are hoping that as a collective they can shackle Barcelona and collect a positive result, which keeps them in a hunt for a semi-final belt. Tottenham Hotspur boss Mauricio Pochettino says the Champions League quarter-final against Manchester City is one of his most important matches as a coach. Spurs host Premier League rivals City in the first leg at the £1 billion Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. In an interview, Pochettino said to play in the Champions League quarter-finals is a massive bonus for us. Meanwhile, City boss Pep Guardiola said it will be almost impossible for his side to win the quadruple this season, having won the Carabao Cup, reached the FA Cup final, and progressed to the quarter-finals of Champions League. City are also chasing the Premier League title. However, Pochettino believes Guardiola's side are good enough to win all four competitions. Stefano Pioli has quit as coach of Fiorentina, the Serie A club said on Tuesday, less than 48 hours after a shock one home defeat against Nets Suboton Frosinone. Fiorentina have dropped to 10th in the Serie A after winning only one of their 11 games in all competitions, although they have reached the semi-finals of Coppa Italia. In a club statement released today, Fiorentina announced that they have received Stefano Pioli's resignation. The 53-year-old former Inter Milan and Lazio coach had been in charge for 22 months. A federal high court in Abuja, presided over by Justice B.O. Quadri, has struck out a suit challenging the election of Musa Ahmedu Kida as Nigeria Basketball Federation president for the 2017 to 2021 term of office. The suit number FHC/ABJ/CA/497/17, filed by one El Hassan Hawalu and Abdullahi Bello in 2017, in which they joined the Honorable Minister of Sports Solomon Dalong, Nigeria Olympic Committee (NOC), and the NBBF as defendants, sought to challenge the authenticity of the election conducted under the auspices of the NOC with the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport as observer, which elected Musa Ahmedu Kida. The server claims stakeholders specifically prayed the court to hold that the elections based on the guidelines for elections into the boards of National Sports Federation conducted at Grand Ibro Hotel, Abuja by the NOC for the NBBF should be set aside and declared null and void, while submitting that only election conducted by NBBF as an autonomous body can regulate and conduct elections onto the NBBF board. In his ruling, the presiding judge, Justice B.O. Quadri, said that the suit brought before the court was no longer live and amounts merely to an academic exercise, since the matter was already before the Federation of International Basketball Association, FIBA, which the NBBF is an affiliate in addition to its membership of the NOC. Based on above, the court ruled that there is nothing to decide, as any decision will be tantamount to laboring in vain. Edo State Governor Obaseki has declared that the state is ready to host the 2020 National Sports Festival (NSF) TAG Benin 2020. The governor, who disclosed it with newsmen in a chat recently, said that the government, in its effort to revamp sports in the state, had for long started renovation works in existing sports facilities across the state, adding that the hosting right granted the state for next year's festival is an added motivation to see that the good work started in refurbishing sports in the state is concluded in relative time. The governor believes the Benin 2020 will be a landmark event in the annals of sports in Nigeria. And that's the size of the package from the sporting segment of Clearview TV. I'm Ogutime Ntulilokpo Ogutime. We'll take a break right now and put that way back in the studio.
There it is. What a shot from Tiger. And the Jamaican juggernaut scores his first goal for a professional side. And
To masu kallon mu barkamu da haka, barkamu da sake saduwa a cikin shirinmu na zaman rayuwa, inda muke zo muku da shi daga wannan katafaren gidan TV wato Clearview Television. Clearview tashar talabijin madogara a bar alfarin kowa da ke yada shirinta a tauraron dan adam wato na Kamsat gami da kafafen sadarwar yanar gizo. Wannan ke baka tabbacin fadin zangon gidan talabijin din da ke karadewa. Halo, barkamu da haka, da muke magana.
Suna magana da Malam Ashiru Salanta. Buhari ke magana. Daga Maiduguri.
To mutanen Maiduguri, dama muna tare da mu daga Maiduguri. To me tambaye ka kuma shawara? Ni ne na kuwa Abu Sufyan Abubakar Kola daga wannan katafaren gidan TV to Clearview Television Abuja. Muke muku fatan alkhairi, a huta lafiya. Wajen yada tallace-tallacen hajoji da al'amuran rayuwa, kama daga ɗaurin aure, kasuwanci, tarihi har ma da yada marfofi. Muddin ka ziyarce mu, daga yau sunan ka sarkin gwarawa.
And you're welcome back. And moving on the entertainment scene, Nigerian media personality Mosun Mola Abudu, also known as Mo Abudu, was on Monday presented with the 2019 Medallia d'Honneur in Cannes, France. And also Hollywood actress Felicity Huffman has accepted a plea deal for her role in the college cheating scam and is facing 27 months in prison. Let's now join Clearview TV's entertainment correspondent for details of these and more.
Nigerian media personality Mosumola Abudu, also known as Mo Abudu, was on Monday presented with the 2019 Medal d'Honneur in Cannes. Mo Abudu becomes the first African and Nigerian to be presented with this award, which is given to people who have made their mark in the global television industry. And in her acceptance speech, she said, "Basking in the glory of receiving my award, I share this award with the Ebony Life team. I thank all my partners, sponsors, my family, my dearest mother, my darling Temidi and Coco, and of course my bestie who have helped and supported me on this journey. Much love always." Mo advocated for the need for a partnership among continents, so that stories can be told with authenticity and produced to the best international standards. If the stories are told from both our perspectives, she added, there is a captive audience on both sides of the Atlantic waiting to be entertained as never before, and with creative business leaders adding significantly to their bottom line. And the Hollywood actress Felicity Huffman has accepted a plea deal for her role in the college cheating scam and is facing 27 months in prison. Huffman, who was arrested by the FBI agents in March, is among 14 people who entered guilty pleas in a Boston, Massachusetts courtroom on Monday, April 8. According to reports, the Desperate Housewives star admitted she paid $15,000 to a SAT exam protocol to give her daughter more time to take the SAT test. Huffman was charged to mail fraud as well as honest services mail fraud. Her husband, actor William H. Massey, was not charged in the case but was present in the courtroom. Huffman released a statement which reads, "I am in full acceptance of my guilt, and with deep regret and shame over what I have done, I accept full responsibility for my actions, and we accept the consequences that stem from those actions. I am ashamed of the pain I have caused my daughter, my family, my friends, my colleagues, and the educational community." Huffman happens to be the first of the celebrity accusers to plead guilty and accept her punishment. Cecilia Okoli reporting for Clearview Television.
Thank you, Cecilia, for that update. And you're watching Clearview Television News. We'll be back after this timeout.
This is Ibrahim calling from Niger. This is Anita from Benin.
Clearview TV. And this is our spread through free-to-air via Nikonsat and online.
Yes, this is Biffus calling you from Adamawa State. Adamawa Ahmad Ibrahim.
Mala Ahmad Ibrahim daga wace jiha kenan?
Daga Yobe. I'm calling from Benue. My name is Chukwemeka. I'm calling from Negative.
You can imagine how far your advertisements, social announcements, official notices, and jingles will go if you patronize us. It's time to take your messages far at the cheapest rate.
You're welcome back. The incessant killing of Nigerians and the worry that the perpetrators had not been brought to book has become a source of concern to many Nigerians, not only those resident in South Africa, but those at home. This is as a result of the last xenophobic attacks on Boni Iwoha and Goziem Akpeyi, who were both stabbed to death in Johannesburg and Cape Town on April 5th and April 6th. Nigerians are therefore calling on their government to impress on the South African authorities to investigate and prosecute the culprits. Clearview TV's Anita Patrick was on the streets of Abuja to get Nigerians' reactions, and here is what they have to say.
The death toll of Nigerians killed in South Africa has continued to rise, with another 2 being the latest victims in the ongoing xenophobic attacks on foreigners in that country. Reacting to these latest attacks, Nigerians believe that the arrest and prosecution of the suspects by the South African police would put a stop to the daily killings of Nigerians. They want the federal government to quickly swing into action by getting the authorities in Johannesburg to bring the perpetrators to book.
It is very unfortunate that the South Africans are carrying out this attack against other Africans, and in particular against Nigerians. I think the South African government need to act and act very fast. And I also think that the federal government of Nigeria, they need to act and act very fast, particularly starting from the High Commission in South Africa. And apart from the High Commission in South Africa, we'll come back when we look at the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Special Advisor to the President on Foreign Affairs. And of course, the National House of Assembly also need to wade into this. And then the federal government need to wade into this.
In fact, I feel very bad over the attack because Nigerians, the country Nigeria is a country that fought tooth and nail during the apartheid regime in South Africa. So Nigerians have contributed immensely to what South Africa is today. So why are we being paid in this form? It's very, very unfortunate.
The spate of killings has been described by some Nigerians as a sign of low self-esteem exhibited by the South Africans following the industrious lifestyle of Nigerians in that country. They say the earlier the South Africans begin to embrace Nigerians as their brothers, the better for the black race.
Xenophobic attack, actually it's something born out of inferiority complex. You just feel inferior to some people that are coming to your country instead of welcoming them. For me, I don't have a problem with anybody coming to my country to make it. For me, I will make it in my own time. So if they come and make it, oh, good for them. That's their luck. So if anybody is attacking any other person in their country, then it has a serious complex there.
If the country is in order, our youth or businessmen or whatever will not be running to other countries to take cover or to run their business. It's very, very unfortunate.
4 broad causes have been identified for the violence. These include relative deprivation, especially intense competition for jobs, commodities, and housing. These issues are said to process psychological categorization that are nationalistic rather than superordinate. Nigerians are hoping that there would be a way out of this ugly trend someday. Anita Patrick, reporting for Clearview Television.
And to some international stories, where Theresa May is to hold last-minute Brexit talks with the leaders of Germany and France later, 4 days before the UK is due to leave the European Union. May is meeting Angela Merkel in Berlin, followed by Emmanuel Macron in Paris, to urge them to back her request to delay Brexit again until 30th of June. The Prime Minister will be at an emergency summit on Wednesday when all EU states will vote on an extension. Cross-party talks aimed at breaking the impasse are also set to continue. The negotiating teams will be joined by Chancellor Philip Hammond and Shadow Chancellor John McDonnell, with the Labour frontbencher saying they hope to broaden the talks. So far, members of Parliament have rejected the withdrawal agreement Theresa May reached with other European leaders last year. One of most contentious parts of the plan is the Irish backstop, an insurance policy that aims to prevent a hard border returning to the island of Ireland. The EU has continually said it will not reopen the withdrawal agreement for negotiations, but leader of the Commons, Andrea Leadsom, renewed her plea for them to look again. And Nissan ex-boss Carlos Ghosn has accused former executives at the firm of backstabbing and says he is innocent of all charges against him. In a pre-recorded video released by his legal team, he said he was a victim of conspiracy and wanted a fair trial. Nissan said in response that there was substantial evidence against him. Ghosn was arrested for a fourth time last week while on bail awaiting trial on charges of financial misconduct and breach of trust. Aside from any criminal matters, Nissan's internal investigation has uncovered substantial evidence of blatantly unethical conduct, the company said. Further discoveries related to Ghosn's misconduct continue to emerge. In the video message, the 65-year-old, who was first arrested in November, maintained his denial of any wrongdoing or misconduct. Ghosn was the architect of the alliance between Nissan and French carmaker Renault and brought Mitsubishi on board in 2016. And before we go, a look at our top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari warns against the use of cyberspace to manipulate elections and subvert the democratic rights of Nigerians. A security consultant, Vince Onyekwelo, has recommended more effective monitoring of Nigerian land borders to check proliferation of arms and light weapons as a way of ending banditry in Zamfara State and other troubled parts of the country. And Nigerians have called for swift federal government intervention to end xenophobic attacks against their fellow citizens in South Africa. And that's the news. Remember that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel via Clearview TV, like us on Facebook via Clearview Television Online, follow us on Twitter at Clearview Online. You can follow us on Instagram at Clearview TV_NG. You can also watch Clearview TV on Nigecomsat with any free-to-air decoder. For details, contact your local installer. I am Prudence Okonna. Many thanks for watching.